Hey everyone, today we have an early look at the wave of Acolyte figures. This is straight from Hong Kong. I have my seller linked in the description below, but these are shipping from a lot of stores in Canada currently and should be in the US pretty soon. I just posted a video comparing these new boxes with the old style Black Series boxes, so you can go check that out if you'd like to see a little bit more detail. Today we're going to be reviewing Osha and Yord. I'm going to break these into pairs and do 3 different videos, so make sure you hit that notification button and ding that bell if you would like to see these as they go live. The new packages all have individual box art on the inside, so here we see those trees with those bugs wrapped around them, so it's cool to see just some individual artwork with each figure. Let's go ahead and get both of these unboxed before we go any further. I did notice that on Yord's packaging, his box art is actually kind of like split down the middle. It looks like he's got some of Indara's packaging on the right, and so I guess maybe because he's part of a pair with Jackie, they both kind of share that backdrop. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, first impression, these are very shiny just right out of the box, but we can fix that so that doesn't bother me too much. Osha here is looking nice and clean. This is a brand new sculpt from what I can tell. I'm not going into like examining all of the different, upper arms and whatnot. We do see a lack of the thigh swivel here, which I feel like definitely hinders the articulation more than a lot of the figures that have lost the thigh swivel. So that's a little disappointing to see. The articulation here is very average. I'd say just like around 90 at both the knee and the elbow. Nothing too special there, but she doesn't do any like lightsaber wielding poses or anything. The head is on your standard double ball joint, and the hair is a separate piece that is glued on. And when we open May, we'll compare the two faces here, but in this video we're just going to be looking at these two. And her pouch actually closes really nicely. A lot of times these like soft pegs don't really hold, but I was surprised that just on the first try it just went right in there and it was nice and snug. She's got a few accessories here, including this pistol that I don't think we've ever seen before in the Black Series. Actually, I'm like 99% sure we haven't. Looks pretty cool. It's just definitely a unique design, and it fits nice and snugly in her holster. It's got like 2 loops here, so you kind of loop the back one over the handle. I don't know how she gets this out if she needs it quickly, but that's how it sits. The backpack actually has a lot of nice painted details. She's got her gold hydro flask on the side and then some more painted details on the back, and it fits on her quite nicely. Next we have 2 versions of Pip, her little droid here. I'm surprised they didn't push this droid in merchandise as much as they did Lola from the Kenobi series. I think this droid is a lot cooler, and he actually has an articulated neck, so you can turn his head or tilt it side to side. You can add some personality there, which is pretty cool. And she actually comes with an alternate version here where he's kind of like spaced out a little bit, where she uses him as like a hacking device. I don't know if I don't really remember seeing Pip in this exact formation before, but I'm personally gonna choose the standard version for him and keep him right in her pouch here. He sits in there really nicely. Nice little pop of color as well in the costume. And overall, I think this is just a really nice looking figure. But Yord Horde Rise Up, we are going to now examine this guy here. Definitely a shiny boy, and his neck looks a little bit long. We're gonna fix all of that actually in this video. And let's take a look at his costume here. Lots of nice paint apps. You can see several different types of yellow, and he does maintain that thigh swivel under the skirt since that line of articulation is hidden. Let's take a look at the wrapper. I mean, the soft goods cloak. It looks actually pretty decent. The hood is glued down, so it sits into place here, but I'll pop that seam in a second and see how it fits over his head, and so you guys don't have to. Please leave a like for my sacrifice. The gauntlets on the arms are really cool, and so I'm probably going to be displaying him. Let's be honest, I'm definitely going to be displaying him without the cloak, just to showcase that detail, and I just don't really like mixing soft goods and sculpted plastic. Let's go ahead and pop that seam. Super easy to do, and then let's see how it looks. Oh no, that's not great, but we can kind of mess with it a little bit, but this is definitely designed to hang down. I don't think we ever see him with his hood up in the show. Correct me if I am wrong. But yeah, these are definitely designed to sit back. You can kind of finagle it a little bit if you really want to have him with his hood up, but any of the other figures that have their hoods glued down in this wave, I'm going to assume are going to do the same thing when popped. Now let's look at his lightsaber here. We have a yellow saber, which, I'm trying to think, I guess we haven't seen since Bast Lashan. Let's see how this looks in Rey from The Rise of Skywalker. This totally looks okay, although, then Yord's not going to have a lightsaber, so maybe if Yord ends up going on deep discount, which, let's be honest, these figures probably will, you might be able to get a cheap yellow lightsaber. But let's actually give Yord his own lightsaber now, and on his right hand he does have these sort of open force fingers. We've seen that on a lot of force users lately. Gives you kind of that force hand as well as something that can grip a lightsaber. I think that's really cool to see, and the soft goods actually lie pretty nicely when he is in a lightsaber wielding pose. But let's go ahead and unwrap him here and appreciate the actual sculpt of the figure. And he does have butterfly joints under there. There's just a little bit of hindrance with the tunic, but not as bad as the Jabeam Obi-Wan's. Let's go ahead and tape off his boots to maintain the shininess on those, and then we're going to take him outside and spray him with my favorite spray, which is Mr. Super Clear Matte. We're going to spray Osha first. I don't mind if her boots get a little bit more matte since they seem to be more like leather, even though, I mean, his are leather, but they seem to be polished. Gonna go just do that quick spray, bring them back inside, and you can see how much that shine has been taken down. The light hits them a lot more naturally, and they just don't look as like glossy and plastic. And then peeling off the tape here, we just still have that shininess on the boots, and that contrast I think can be really nice. I should have probably taped off his belt as well, but it still looks nice and leathery. But let's fix that long neck. So I popped off the head just using a bit of force, and then I used a bit of heat to heat up the neck and some pliers to pull out the peg. I probably should have done this before spraying it, because if you're going to use hot water, sometimes the hot water can react with the sealant and just look a little bit foggy. Then I'm going to use some black tack, which I like a lot more than that like museum tack or blue tack. It's a little bit more sticky. I don't know, everything about it just feels nicer, and of course it's a little bit more invisible than the blue or white stuff. It's not on Amazon anymore, so I will have a link below to buying it directly from the brand. And you can see it's strong enough to like hold his head in place, but it's also like loose enough that I can still turn his head, so it still retains that posability, which I think is pretty cool. And just gets that head down just a couple millimeters and just sitting a lot more naturally. I think he looks so much better. So I designed this diorama the other day. That's not finished. There's still like a bottom half to it that's printing right now, so as these videos go on, you will get to see the diorama sort of evolve, but I think this is a nice display stand for just 2 figures here. So let me know in the comments below, are you picking up any of the figures from this wave? I did a poll recently, and I was surprised at how many of you actually are going to be getting these. I think that these are really nice looking, and like, I'm really excited to have these. I'm enjoying this show a lot, especially after the previous episode. I'm excited to see where it goes, so I'm really looking forward to hearing from all of you. Stay tuned for the next 2 figures in this series, and I will see you all next time.